G'day guys, welcome to another episode in the GT show. So in this show, we're going to be talking about, I'm responding to a thread that I saw on Facebook where really there was a fellow saying that he was going to be delivering flyers in his neighborhood and whatever. And a whole bunch of people jumped on him and said, oh, you're an idiot. A, flyers don't work, and B, get someone else to deliver them for you. It's a waste of time, and that's $10 an hour work, and get the Tina, whatever it was. They just jumped on him and smashed him. And whilst, look, there's some validity to that, I suppose, in some areas, but I'm going to address a few points based on that. First off, though, before we get into it, I'm going to say a massive shout out to my man, Eric Thomas. I'm wearing my When You Want to Succeed As Bad As You Want to Breathe t-shirt. I thought I'd throw up in the background some ET slides, some ET stuff, because my man, Eric, I just guest starred on his inner circle that he's got over there in Detroit, where he's got a big group of people called Breathe University. Thanks again, E, for having me on BU, Breathe University, as a guest mentor. It was pretty cool to have one of my mentors ask me to join and mentor his people. It was pretty cool. And of course, Eric has come to our little neck of the woods and mentored us, me and many of you, for the last 3 years now at the Be Phenomenal event. So I thought, shout out and a tribute to my man, ET. In fact, the reason I'm doing the GT show was really because Eric inspired me with his Thank God It's Monday series, the TGIMs. 12 seasons of that thing and still going strong. So big shout out to E. Now, let's get to this question about flyers. So the first thing I wanted to say is the first point really look, they were being a little bit negative, let's face it, but they were just giving their opinion. So I don't want to go too harsh on them. But the first thing I was saying is, flyers don't work. Since when? Your flyers may not work, but flyers still work. Just because yours don't doesn't mean that flyers don't work, So there's the first thing. The first thing is you've got to learn what to put on your flyer to get it to work. Now, that is a subject for another time, but certainly getting your flyers right. But the point is, if people are still going to their letterbox, and of course they are, otherwise the letterbox will be overflowing, they reckon that half of the Australian population, one of the first 3 things they do when they get home is they still get the mail and sort the mail. Now, the fact that they probably do it like I do, hanging over the wheelie bin, and most of it goes in the junk mail, well, that's why those naysayers are saying flyers don't work, because their flyers are sitting there in that junk mail and they do absolutely nothing. And now I get that we only get about a half a second of glance time before. Now, there are a few strategies that we teach in other places to get you more eyeball time on that flyer, which is a strategy. But to say they don't work it's literally like saying that, that electricity doesn't work. Yeah, because it doesn't work at your house because you didn't pay the bill. But at us people who know how to work electricity and turn on a switch, well, of course it works. So that's the first thing. Flyers can work. You just got to know how to use the particular media. And that's true of any media. So long as there's eyeballs on that media, then it will work. It's just a case of finding the most cost-effective media. But here's the thing. And now, these people who are saying, pay someone to do it for you. Well, that's, I suppose, valid. If you can afford to pay someone enough to deliver those flyers on a day when there's no junk mail, it's one of the keys. Deliver them on a day that there's no junk mail. Deliver them onesie, twosie, not in a big clump of junk mail that just gets thrown out without it being glanced at. Of course, that's another thing. But here are the reasons why I believe, and certainly for this fellow, he was just starting out. Here's why I believe it was poor advice for those people on that particular Facebook group to be giving this kid that, in my opinion, poor advice. Here's some of the 4 reasons why it's a good idea in the early stages of a career to do it yourself. First off, you save a few bucks. And this is probably the least compelling reason, because if it was only about the money, they'd be right. You should pay someone $10 an hour, $15 an hour, or $50 per 1,000, or whatever it works out at. You should pay someone to do it if it was only a monetary kind of decision. But it's not just about the money. Here's the other thing. First off, it's getting delivered. Secondly, my man Eric Thomas, he says he gets up at 3 every morning. 3. Now, you might not have to go as crazy as 3, but Tom Panos has his thing called the 5 a.m. club. And, so Tom says get up at 5. John McGrath, I think, gets up at 5. Who else? I mean, there's so many successful people. Jim Rowan says get up at 5. So many people say get up at 5. Oh, but these guys on Facebook say, no, you've got to sleep in. You've got to have work-life balance. Who said? Show me an Olympian with a gold medal who had work-life balance for the period of time they were going hard. right? I get it. Down the track, you can have work-life balance, but in your first year or two, no balance. You want to earn 500 grand a year, you're going to give this thing your all. So let's get up early. You're going to get a couple of hours head start on your competitors. You're going to be out in your marketplace, delivering those flyers. Maybe an hour a day, every day, 6 days a week, is going to get you the better part of a 1,000 to 1,500 homes farm area dropped. So you're going to blanket, saturate, market your area every single week. Right? That's how often you'll be able to get a message. Admittedly, you're only going to get a second or 2 or 3 or 5 to 10 seconds of eyeball time out of each and every participant. But the cumulative effect of that, with your face in front of them every week, you're going to get known in your area. So you're going to be adding to your business by saturate marketing. I mean, my man Matt Steinway called it saturation marketing. Chris Gilmore does it. Tom Carlin does it. So many 7-figure agents do it. And yet, oh no, the guys on the Facebook group said it's a bad idea. Anyway. So we've got the adding to your business reason. We've got the getting up nice and early reason, so you've got a bit of a head start on your area. Here's another thing. While you're out there working, you can be listening to some personal development material. I mean, that's not good. My green screen fell down. You know what? I'm not even going to edit it because we're raw. Okay, so you've got, where were we? We got adding your business, getting up nice and early, getting a couple hours head start. You're getting to learn your area. You're out there. You're amongst it. Personal development. You're listening to, if you've got a Michael Jordan tape, you've got Michael Jordan in there. If you've got Eric Thomas, you're listening to Eric Thomas. You might be listening to me. You might be listening to the GT show. You might be listening to some audio programs of mine. But you're adding to your brain, whether it's motivational, whether it's educational. You're listening to audio programs for an hour, hour and a half a day. I promise you, you listen to audio programs like I describe for an hour a day, for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years. My God, you're going to have a head start on your competitors. So you're adding to your brain. And here's another thing. You're out there adding to your health. You're not letting this happen to you. I mean, guys, when I first got into real estate, literally, I weighed, I think 95 kilos or something. I was in good shape, had a six-pack. I was a professional wrestler, So this industry's been great to my head, been great to my wallet, been great to my attitude, been great to my lifestyle. I mean, I'll never trade anything for a million years. What I've done in the last couple of years, who I've met, who I've associated with. I'm not quite at MJ yet. I'm still working on Michael Jordan, but over on the other side of the wall over there, I've got an autographed photo of me and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I got to hang out at all that stuff I wouldn't trade for the world, but it hasn't been great for my physical shape. That's another story. Well, we might even do an upcoming episode of that on getting Twiddle in shape, right? But so if you're walking for an hour a day, you're staying in physical shape, adding to your brain, learning your area. You might be out there noticing your area. You notice that a guy, if you're walking it every day, you'll notice when that guy changes his letterbox. You'll know that 15 Smith Street is the place that never mows his lawn. So that when 17 Smith Street calls 6 months later and says, hey, I need you to come and appraise my house. You go, oh, you're at 17 Smith Street. Yeah, you're next to the bloke who bloody never mows. And he'll go, yeah. And you'll look like a true area expert because you'll know every house. You'll know every street. You'll know every gutter. You'll know every letterbox. If you do this for a couple of years, you will truly be what everyone says they are, but so few actually are. You'll be an area expert. So, look, I don't know how many, we're up to. Look, here's the last one I'm going to give you. And I think I've already given you enough that you're going to agree that for those early parts of your career, go deliver your own letterbox drops. But here's the last one. We've shown that most real estate agents are lazy. 2/3 of the industry didn't even follow up when I did some secret shopping and basically handed them a listing on a silver platter. 2/3 didn't even take the lead and follow up. So we know that your lackluster competitors are doing nothing. So how good's that going to be for your mindset if you know that they're snoring till 7 a.m. and you've been up since 4:30, you've already added to your education, you've already got yourself fired up listening to ET or me or someone like that, right? You're already fired up, you've educated yourself, you've learnt your area a little bit more, you've added to your business by delivering some marketing collateral to your area, you've marketed your area constantly, week in, week out. You've learnt your area, you've gotten to become an area expert instead of it just being lip service, you actually are it, you know your area off by heart, you're staying in good healthy shape. I mean, goodness guys, I'd probably convince some veterans to get back out there, deliver your own letterbox drops. But certainly for you rookies, don't listen to these well-meaning, Facebook keyboard warriors who tell you that it's a waste of time to be doing that. Because I tell you what, they'll be still where they are 5 years from now. You'll be up on a stage and they'll be paying $200 to sit in a seat to listen to how you went on to succeed. That's what'll happen. I've seen it happen. I've seen rookies who are now speaking on stage at seminars, and I've seen 10, 15-year veterans who are very well-meaning, but who are not as successful as some of their younger counterparts. Why? Because their younger counterparts are just taking some of this sort of advice that may go a little bit against the grain from time to time. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. We've had our green screen fall off the wall. Maybe Michael Jordan was wanting to put in his 2 bobs worth. Michael wanted to say, get out, get amongst it, and go and deliver your fly. I mean, Michael, he's famous for when it come to work, he was the first to get there, last to leave. First to come, last to leave. So maybe that should be you. Maybe you should be the first one that is working, even if it is out in your marketplace. I'm not talking about in the office. No money ever got made in the office. Be first to come out there in the marketplace and be the last to leave the work. You know what I mean? So there you go. Maybe Michael just wanted to chime in and say that. I'm going to stick with that one. All right, guys, until next week. I think next week, what we're going to do, you know what? Next week, we might address this whole bloody Twiddle being a bit out of shape thing. The time has come. I'm going to show you now how I commit to goals, how I set goals, and as you guys have seen over the last couple of years, how I kind of achieve a few of them along the way too. Until then, another episode of the GT Show in the can. Thank you for listening. Got any comments about what you do with your flyers and whether they work for you, whether they don't, or any comments, any success strategies or anything with regards to the letterbox? Pop in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you've got to offer as we share these ideas. Until next time, guys. Bye for now.